yes, people having their conversation, and there's a lot of comments coming on. So let's get back into the program. Let's get back to the questioning, and let's go back to talking to our guest today. Our guest, very experienced, has been doing this thing for more than 20 years, administrator in the Montgomery County of Maryland, and she's also a community leader. She's actually a president of the association I belong to, which is the Voltaire Association of Washington, D.C. metro area. Dr. Quist, so you mentioned that you have been working with the parents in order to, adopt some of the skills and techniques in raising their kids that would make them successful. So I think this is the meat. This is going to be the real meat of today's conversation. Yeah. How are you doing this? How do you engage with the parents? How do you even get call? How do you get, say, a parent to say, Dr. Quist, I need you to be involved in, my situation with my son, or how do I get in touch with you? So these are, I know there's so many questions in one, but if you could take it down from the beginning, how you get engaged, what are some of the things you do to get the parents prepared to deal, with the situations, they have, affecting their family. How do you do all that?
So first of all, before I say thank you to the comments that were coming in, and hopefully I'm close to the mic enough right now that people can actually hear me, and I'm also going to take my time, so that you can understand me better, because I also have a tendency to talk very fast when I get very excited. So one of the things that I want the listeners to know is that this is a forum where we are educating. This is a forum where we want to bring awareness. So it's very important that as we are doing this together and as you are sending your comments, we are all sharing ideas and not being negative, because this is to educate, and we try and present things in a more positive way to help all of us, because you are learning from me, I could be learning from you in terms of the comments, that you are making. So thank you so much for sharing some of those comments, which were, great comments, by the way. So let me go back to the question that you have asked. And of course, you see that I have my face is now like really serious, because this is serious business. Research, shows that when, students are very successful, you have test scores that go up. You have absenteeism that cuts down. You have social issues, appropriate behaviors at the highest level. When you are involved or you are engaged, in your child's education, basically what happens is that this child is focused. You will see the rate of them going into colleges or universities or technical schools, whichever field they choose to go to, and they are very successful. And because of that parental involvement and because of that engagement. So there are two things. I've used the word involvement and I've used the word engagement. So let's look at involvement, for instance. And let me give a typical example. So your child is going to go to a school. You want your child enrolled in a school. What would be the first thing as a parent that you should do? If I have to talk about my childhood, it will be totally like different from what I know today. But basically what happens is that as a parent, you need to find out information about the school. What does this school offer? You are the one, the best, you know your child best. You know the skills that your child has. So you need to find out what the school offers. What is about the school? What initiatives does the school, have? It's very important for you to make sure that, you are meeting with key stakeholders, like the principal, the teacher that will be teaching your child, the counselors. Make sure that you know the security person. Make sure that you are familiar with who the secretaries are, because these are people that you are going to be talking to, regarding your child. So it's very important for you to do that. You start from there. One of the things, in the U.S., for instance, I know that I've been involved in other areas when I was in Ghana. And if you are watching from all over the world and you are not a Ghanaian, just try and apply it to your situation as well. I'm using Ghana because I'm more familiar with my schooling in Ghana and how I, the schooling here with myself and then, of course, with my children. So one of the things that happens in the school system in the United States is that we have opportunities such as back to school night, where parents are invited, where teachers share, new school initiatives. Teachers share what they are going to be, teaching your child, the resources that they are going to be using to teach your child, new technology, and sometimes they educate you on how to use that technology. For instance, we have a program where the parent can check on their child's assignment, so that if the child comes home and you say, oh, have you done your homework? And the kid says, I have done it, you can actually check to see if your child has done the homework or not do the homework. You see what I mean?
So can't hide no
exactly, you can hide. And then you have parent-teacher associations, where parents have to sign up and be part of that. So there are just so many things that go on in the school that you need to take that initiative to know. But it's not just school. Remember, our parents are our first educators. At home, what do they teach us? Maybe not every parent, but the culture that I grew up in, basically in Ghana, you are taught, how to cook, how to do like all these basic chores, and also to balance those chores with academic work. And I call it like the silence. It's something I'm trying to give it a name because sometimes the expectation is not defined for you. But just like the look from your mother's eye or your father's eye, you know what that means. So this is what like we have going on. So of course, you get all this information from school. It shouldn't stop there. You go home, out of excitement, you share with your child what school they are going to be going to. These are the informations that you found about the school. This is what you know that your child can do in that school. So together, you and your child are setting measurable and realistic goals, for your child's education. You keep the communication open between your child's school and your child. Basically, that is what you should be doing. You keep the learning exciting because then your child is going to get very excited about learning. So one of the things that, and I'm speaking from experience as a Ghanaian, that I've noticed, before I came here, I know that I've never really, I don't remember whether there was even any PTA meeting in my school way back in Ghana. I don't remember that. I don't even remember when I was registered in that school. I don't remember. I think there was one time I remember my stepdad coming to my elementary school because I was asked to I put on a white shoe to play an angel, and then I was given a brown shoe. And so then the principal complained, and I went to tell my parents. Then my stepdad marched into the school angrily gave it to it to the principal. I'm like, okay, what did he just do? Now I'm in trouble. So you find those. So I don't remember much about the family involvement. But what I remember, though, that there were expectations, a silent expectations that you couldn't fail. So I recall this experience where we were 28 students in a class. For my mom, you have to be the top 3. How am I going to do that top 3 when before I go to school in the morning, school starts at 8 something. I have to go and sell chaliwate and something. I don't know how many people are going to, even Mom, if you are listening to this, I'm sorry, hopefully you are not listening, but I have to say this. How many people are going to buy that chaliwate in the morning before I go to school?
But let me, I'm going to ask you a quick, something that relates to this, right? There is a study out there that says success usually for children depends on chores they do at home and love, the relationships they have with their parents. That the school checklist thing doesn't necessarily determine that. Because I can see that you are very successful. Could it be the chaliwate you sell in the morning?
know.
So if your mother is listening, she did a good job with that.
I'm not criticizing my mom, but these are silent expectations. It's like, okay, these are things that you have to do, but my focus is on how involved were they in my education? Right. Because at the end of the day, I'm expected to be the top three, one of the top three, right? Yeah. But then I go and sell. And then I know I can't fail. I have to learn. Right. And then I quickly go back to school. Okay. Then there is recess. I come back and I'm supposed to go and sell ice water. Of course, I can't say no recess for like 45 minutes.
For whatever
and
reason.
Then I come back.
I think all the people who sold ice water turn out to be successful. Maybe you should be doing that a lot in Ghana.
So that I go back, so that I go back to school and things like that. Right. So on this day where my report card comes in and I was fifth out of 28 students. Oh my God. I did not want to come home because I knew, oh my Lord, I am going to be dead. Right. I'm going to be whipped or, something. Right. But somebody out there might think, oh, maybe this might be a kid who is not that smart. Right. But seriously, this was a one smart kid who was so scared because I placed, fifth. Right. So I call it the silent expectations. Yeah. There are certain things that you are supposed to do. So even when my mom left and went overseas, those things were still there. Right. You cannot fail. You have to kind of figure it out to make it work. Right. I remember my stepdad, the most thing I remember about my stepdad is poetry. Maybe that's why I write poetry. But you see, you have to memorize the poems and you have to say it, otherwise you are going to be whipped and, stuff like that. Those are the things I remember about my education. Yes, I turned out to be very successful. I don't know whether others who might be in the same situation that I was in might turn out to be successful like I was. Okay. It depends on whether they went to maybe good schools or whether they had resources available for them or whether it depends on that. But my own children.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
It is totally different.
How did you do with your children? Because I know you have three.
Yes, three great children. Three great children. They've all finished school, they are working, they've completed university. They turn out really, really
well. So how was that experience? I mean, you told